Olsen, TD, guys, congrats on 2 unbelievable careers. I can't tell you how honored I am to call you both teammates. And out of everything you guys have accomplished, I think I take the cake in being the only player, not just in NFL football, but in professional sports, to play on the same team as his father, Greg, and with his son, Thomas. So following in your footsteps, Greg, everything you've taught me as a father, and then passing it along to my son, Thomas, was something that it goes way beyond sports. So thank you guys for giving me that opportunity. Obviously, jokes aside, Thomas, jokes aside, it's a joke. But you guys are 2 of the best people I've ever met. You know, not just obviously on the field, but off the field.
Hey guys, Thomas, Greg, just want to congratulate you guys on a tremendous career. And as you can see, I'm standing in front of probably one of my favorite pictures. It depicts really the men that really helped make this football team special for all those years. And I was really proud to be able to say that you guys were both part of that special football team that we had for such a long time. And I think it's only fitting that you guys get to finish your careers as Carolina Panthers. I'm very proud of the fact that you guys played for me. It was very special, it really is, it meant a lot. And you know, it was really a cool time, a great time, but I'm just very proud, very happy for you guys, and I expect great things from you guys as you continue your lives. Oh, this? Well, I'm sorry guys, but he was my favorite. Hey, love you guys both. Take care and God bless.
Thomas and Greg, congratulations. Really happy for you, really happy for your families. You know, I agreed to do this video even though I could never convince the 2 of you to agree to come to Buffalo to play for us here. Anyway, we'll do the video anyway. And listen, 30 years, there's a lot of people that would just hope and dream for one day in the NFL, and the 2 of you shared 30. Amazing accomplishment.
Hey Thomas, John Fox here. I want to congratulate you on a great career. Not only just your accomplishments, your ability to play defense, how you could run and hit to the football, but your leadership. There was always a guy, if I needed a message to go out to the team, you were always reliable in making that happen. Really feel blessed to have been a part of your career. And what a great career. So proud of you.
Greg, TD, it's a great honor for me to be part of the celebration of your guys' careers. Greg, we were together for 9 years, man, and it's 9 of the best years of my life. I got to witness a guy come to work every day, practice his ass off, go full speed every snap, and guess what? Did the same thing on Sunday and excelled to become one of the greatest tight ends to ever play.
Thomas Davis, number 58. Congratulations, okay, on your retirement. When I think of you as a player and as a person, first as the player, I think about one of the most competitive players I've ever been associated with, one of the most competitive players I've ever coached. In the face of adversity, all the things that you've had to overcome throughout the course of your career has developed and made you into the strong person that you are today for this community. And when I questioned you, or when I told you that you couldn't do something, immediately your response was, watch, I'll show you, coach, I'll show you. And more times than not, you definitely did that.
Thomas, 15 years you and I were together. Greg, 9 years. Special times, special times. What you guys did in 2015 to will that team to the Super Bowl, unbelievable. The sacrifices you guys made, the dedication, incredible.
TD, Gio, what up, sons? Hey, congratulations. 30 years of combined history-making experience as NFL football players. Having watched how hard you guys worked, I'm excited to see what transpires for the rest of your lives. 9 years with Gio, 8 years with TD. You guys taught me what it means to be an exceptional player on and off the field. And as you guys go into this next stage of your life, your legacies through who you are and how your families have represented the city of Charlotte will last a lifetime. I wish you all the best, and always remember the big Doggy loves you. Deuces.
So, Thomas Davis, you finally deciding to call it a career. Well, one, it's a career you need to be proud of, because I thought what you were as a player, you were a good player, but you were a better man. And I think that speaks volumes to what you are, what you're about, and what you're going to continue to do. Mr. Reliable, I appreciate you allowing me to run up against your back on any given running play. That's what sacrifice is all about, especially when we are trying to get those tough yards. You led the way in a lot of those battles, so thank you. Thank you for your preparation that never went unnoticed to become one of the Panther greats and one of the best tight ends to ever play this game. Thomas, the mayor, it's time for you to run for mayor, dog. You know, if resilience needed a picture of a definition, it would be you. Everything that you have overcome to play this game, you know, to sit and watch on the sideline as you have overcome those things and all the adversity with ease. You know, this is what you were built for. You were built to inspire people and to show them and lead them in ways that only you can. Greg, you've been nothing but a tremendous friend, nothing but a tremendous teammate the entire time I've known you. One of the best to ever do it, man. You guys are amazing at everything that you have done on and off the field. I commend you so much. So much respect for what you have. Thomas, my boy, TD, my brother, thank you for being there for me since 2008. You know, being there as a friend more than a teammate, as a brother, as somebody that I can look up to and say, that's how you're supposed to do it.
Greg, TD, I just want to say congratulations on one hell of a career. You guys set the foundation for what it is to be a pro on and off the field. And just know I'm forever grateful.
Greg Olsen and Thomas T.D. Davis. Thomas T.D. Davis, Greg Olsen. Fellas, what's going on, man? Hey, listen. I'm so honored and proud to even be sending you guys this video. I wish I was in person because I would, you know how I get down. We'll be giving you some haymakers, but nah, thank you all for all y'all did for me and my career. Not only my career, but everybody else around that you guys touch. You did it in a great way. I mean, the longevity that you guys have and played in this league is just beyond me. Something that I wish and aspire to get to, but I definitely know that the next chapter in your life is going to be even better and bigger and sweeter.
Greg and TD, what a wonderful time it was to just be a part of what we had in Carolina. 30% of my career was played with the Panthers, but it was impacted so much, and it was impacted so much because of both of you. I thank you guys so much for being such an influence on not only me as a player, as a person, as a man, as a father, as a husband. The way you guys conducted yourself on and off the field, it was such a bright light for so many others to see, and I can appreciate that so much.
Greg, TD, congratulations, man, on your retirement. You know, everybody understands that you deserve this moment. You deserve to retire as a Carolina Panther, not because of, you know, all the great accomplishments you had as a, you know, wearing your jersey. You know, the numbers, that tells enough of that, but really and truly it's because everything that you impacted within this community of Charlotte and North and South Carolina.
We had one hell of a year in 2015, and I wish to God we could have tried to repeat it. But I got old, I retired, now you're old and you're retired with me. Congratulations to both of you gentlemen for having one hell of a career.
First off, Olsen, I want to thank you, man. I will not forget the time in 2015 walking down training camp, and I did not practice, and you gave me hell for that. Oh, look at this rookie not practicing. Oh, so I always remember that. I'll always remember that moment, and that moment right there just inspired me just to do better and get on that field, man. I appreciate you. To the old man, yes, you're very old, TD, very old. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for everything, man. I know it was difficult for you to call my name up there, but that changed my whole life, man. You did everything on and off the field to show me the right way and how the standard of keep pounding should keep going through you, through the linebacker core, through the community. I want to say thank you for that.
TD, Greg's, Jordan here. Man, I thought you guys were never going to retire. Seriously, like, just keep on playing and playing. It feels like a million years ago when I retired. And it was fun watching you. For some reason, it made me feel like I still was out there somehow. TD, I'll never forget the fact that I'm in fact faster than you. As you know, don't shake your head. It's true. I could cut you off backside every time for a few years until you finally realized how to play linebacker. And then I never could catch you ever again. So I basically credit myself with your entire career success because I taught you how to play linebacker by beating you backside for years at training camp. But I also tried to sabotage your career because I told you you should retire after your third ACL, and thank God you didn't listen to me. The world would be a much worse place if you hadn't continued on. Olsen, we got to get together at some point and just do some double team blocks, because I got so much joy out of setting up a D-end and then having you just obliterate these poor guys like no other lineman could even do, let alone a tight end. And that's not to mention the fact that you could run routes with the best in the world. So guys, I'm so proud of you both. I can't wait to see you, give you a big hug, and wish I was there. Congrats to you and the family, and it just gets better, man. Retirement's awesome. Get ready.
To our digital audience looking in and listening in, to those of you gathered here today, welcome to the Red Zone at Bank of America Stadium. My name is Mick Mixon, and today we pay tribute to two outstanding individuals. Two who are the embodiment of class, toughness, sacrifice, dignity, hard work, and grace under pressure. And then we'll honor their husbands, Thomas Davis and Greg Olsen, who played football for the Carolina Panthers. No, I think even Greg and TD would say that Kara and Kelly are the stars of the show, and Kara and Kelly, thank you for your greatness that helped fuel their greatness. Now, luminaries are everywhere. We have some former players here. I'll miss some, I know, but players such as Charles Johnson, Nate Sally, John Beeson, Luke Kuechly, Captain Munnerlyn. Saw Chris Manhertz walk in. So thank you guys for being here as well. Now, before we hear from Greg and TD, please help me welcome to the podium the owner of the Carolina Panthers. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Tepper.
I got Drummond me a speech here. That's gone. So don't worry, Nicole. Don't worry, Drummond. I have no idea what I'm going to say, but look, I was just thinking about you two guys, and I was thinking about my own family a little bit. I was thinking about my kids and, you know, how I love them, how sometimes you fight with them, they go away from you, but they come back home. And I think the people here in Carolina, you guys are family. And I'm glad you guys came back home today. Now, nobody's going to doubt what great football players you guys were. I mean, your accomplishments are well known, they're documented, the stats are out there, everybody knows it. But I think that, you know, when I got here, you know, I looked at the people here and I said, man, there's some people who are really active in the community. And, you know, 3 guys in particular, 2 of them are here now. Bring the other guy back home. Don't worry about that one day. And, you know, what I really got to know what you guys meant to the community in a few different ways. When we were at the Children's Hospital event with you, Greg, I could see your passion. If you could just feel it in the room, you could feel the respect that people had for you, and what it meant to you and your wife, you know, and what that meant to people here. And Thomas, you know, I know what you did in the community, but I got to tell you, with the day when we just when we moved on, I went down to the Flipside Diner down in Rock Hill, and I got an earful from the waitress down there, saying how much she loved you, what you meant to the community, how great you were. I mean, I don't know if she's still down there, you know, serving stuff, but I tell you, people love you. They love you and they respect you in the community. And I think that's what people forget. You know, this is a sport, and you guys are great football players, but people don't realize what great men you guys are too. And when you go in life, that's going to stay with you forever, and that's what's going to carry on in your retirement now. You know, great fathers, great husbands, great men, and you were great football players. And I just want to thank you for coming back and retire as Panthers. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dave. So come with me in your mind to training camp years ago. It's an oppressively hot early August day, and on the practice field, the farthest practice field in the corner from where the players come up for the locker room and to get something to drink and get showered. A hot morning practice ends, and I'm standing there with my reporter's notepad, Panther baseball cap on, mechanical pencil, trying to make my 152 pounds look as robust as possible. And the tight ends come walking towards me. So I click my pencil, and I got my reporter's notepad ready, and I look up at this group of tight ends, these proud warriors, and I say, is tight end considered a skill position? Well, Richie Brockle, he knew I was just kidding him around, so he's smiling. And, I think Ed Dixon's smiling. They walk past me. But this question flies all over the great Greg Olsen. He stops, and he stands over me like a big chicken hawk. And he looks down at me, and with utter contempt and disdain in his voice for my question, he says, "Hell yeah, dude." And he was so big and so sweaty and so Greg Olsen-y that I think I actually wrote down in my book, okay, I got it, tight end equals skill position. So getting a hell yeah, dude out of Greg Olsen that day remains one of the proudest moments of my life. So is tight end a skill position? Well, as you're about to see on this video, the way Greg Olsen rolled, he brought amazing skill to the position, both on and off the field.
Panthers tight end Greg Olsen and his wife teamed up with Levine Children's Hospital, announcing the first cardiac neurodevelopment program in the Southeast.
Hi, Caden. How are you? Well, I'm glad you're doing well, bud.
They've started the Hardest Yard Foundation, which provides families with potentially life-saving home care.
To go to one facility and have one comprehensive program that will identify all the needs: cognitive delays, speech delays, behavioral, social.
He is really something. Such a great ambassador to our game.
End zone, one-handed grab. Are you serious? Olsen, leaping catch for the touchdown. He's the first NFL tight end ever to put 3,000-plus yard receiving campaigns in the book. Cam Newton throws a pass. Olsen end zone. Caught, touchdown! Oh my goodness! What an unbelievable, respect-taking road win.
Oh God, I see that.
Three-time Pro Bowler, 60 career touchdown receptions, Hall of Fame resume, the amazing 88 Greg Olsen. Greg, before you come to the microphone for some remarks, will you please join our owner David Tepper at this table to the right of the stage to sign your contract to retire as a Carolina Panther.
thought the signing bonus would be bigger. We gotta talk to you about that, Dave. Well, first and foremost, you know, I'll be honest. I don't know if a year or so ago, if we thought, you know, this day would be here. You know, things move on. Dave touched on it. This is a hard game played by tough people making hard decisions. And just to be standing in this room with everything we've all gone through the last year, the ups and the downs, the personal struggles, the struggles of the world, to just be in this room with friends and family is the highlight of my career. So first and foremost, Mr. Tepper, thank you for inviting my family back. It means a great deal. You know how we feel about this community. To be here and look across the room and see people we consider family. I mean, guys, we spent a lot of times with. Drum, thanks for putting this together. Ryan Anderson, Coach Rule, I know we didn't get a chance to work together, but the last thing I told you before I walked out of your office was I'm always going to be a fan of yours and wish for your success, whether I'm a part of it or not. At the time, I was still on the team technically. But that was the last thing I ever said to you, and I mean that. So for you guys to open back up and let my family have this day, it means a great deal to us. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. So when Mr. Tepper called me to ask me if I was open to doing this, of course I said yes. And then a couple days or a week later, Ryan Anderson called me and he said, "Hey, you know, we want to do it with Thomas. Is that something you'd be interested in?" And I said, "Are you kidding me?" Like, of course. I mean, what a better honor to go in, a guy I love and I respect and great, you know. I said, "I'm not gonna lie though, I'm a little nervous. I mean, you guys see this outfit that he's wearing?" I said, "I'm going to come up here on like a big day in my career and this guy's going to outshine me, and I'm not sure if I'm ready for that." But it happened. I was true. That's the greatest outfit I've ever seen. And it doesn't surprise me. All seriousness though, when I first got here in 2011, the Ryan Khalils and the Jordan Grosses, the Thomas Davises, it was real evident who ran this team. Who were the guys that I needed to win over as the new guy coming into training camp? Who were the guys that I needed to earn their respect from my performance? You know, here's some random kid from Chicago who got traded here. Can he play? The last time I played you guys, I fumbled twice. Thanks, Voth, for pointing that out to everybody. He made me fumble once. Voth decided to put that on Twitter last week. That was fun. But the guy who really rose to the top of the, amongst the top of the list was Thomas. And we didn't know each other at all. We had played against each other, always had a lot of respect for him, knew part of his story and part of his background. But little did I know just the impact that this guy was going to have on me. We didn't play the same position. We didn't play on this side of the ball. We never sat in a meeting together. But just the friendship that we formed, getting to know Kelly and the kids and your parents and your family. I mean, so many people that I got to see again for the first time. To share this moment with you, Thomas and Kelly and the entire family, I don't know if I would ask to do it any different. I mean, the leadership that you guys showed to show us the way to give back, to show us what it meant to be bigger than a football player, to be a family that really embraced the community, both here and back home where you guys grew up, was an unbelievable inspiration for Kara and I. When we went down our journey and tried to find our way of engaging with the community, you guys were our lead. You know, we followed the path that you guys had set. And one of my favorite memories of my whole career involves you guys. We were going to the Man of the Year, and the second time was in, it was in Minnesota. And I had lost the year before, and we're like, oh, we're going to get it. But Kara and I were nervous and, whatnot. I was like, what am I going to say if I win? Is there any chance I actually win? And we showed up, and we didn't know Thomas and Kelly had flown out and were sitting next to us in the audience when we sat there. And Thomas, of course, had won, years before, and just listening to his speech, and I was, I always imagined, like, was I going to be able to deliver a speech like that? And, just to have Thomas and Kelly share that moment with us as just friends, as just people who had been down that road, and to have their support. They didn't need to fly out there to sit by Kara and I. He had won his Man of the Year. He had done his thing. He didn't need to come out there and support us, but they did. And I just think that's a testament to the whole family, to Thomas and Kelly and the kids. You guys, it's been awesome to get to watch you guys. When you walked in, I said, Kelly, what is going on with your kids? Why are they so big? But when I met you guys, they were like mine. So I just want you guys to know, to share this day with you, TD, is an unbelievably humbling, and I'm so grateful for that. And Kelly, you guys have been great friends. So thanks for letting us share this day. I know this day means a lot to you, but just know your presence here to share this with you means a great deal to our family. So we love you guys, and just wanted to first start off with that. A lot of my background into football, I gotta stop looking at my mom, she's gonna make me cry. You know, my football story is unique and of its own, but if it wasn't for my dad, I never would have played football. I remember we were kids and we would watch the Hall of Fame speeches, and like I remember growing up saying, like, could I ever give that speech and like hold it together? Obviously I can't. I'm not a crier, but like I can't stress the impact playing for my dad as my high school football coach and learning the game of football, going to camps as kids like my own, sleeping on dorms at Penn State, sleeping on the floor at Rutgers, traveling around to coaches' clinics, and just learning the game through him. He was my first coach. He was my best coach. No offense to everybody else. But like, he's now my kids' coach. We coach together. He's still my coach. He would call me after every game. I'll never forget, I had like a game where I had like 10 catches and I dropped the ball on the sideline, and after the game, I'm feeling good about myself. And I'm like, yo, it was a good game, whatever. He's like, what happened on the sideline? I was like, Jesus. I was like, I caught 10 balls. I missed one. Give the guy a break. But that was him. And the traits that he taught me, not only through football, but just as my dad, and about perseverance and toughness and grit and fight, was what I always hoped my career embodied. You know, I was never the best athlete. I was never the fastest guy. I was never the most talented guy, but no one was ever going to outwork me. No one was ever going to outfight me. And that was the way we were expected to play. That was the way we were expected to live every day of our lives. And sometimes, my brother Kevin's here, he can probably attest, sometimes it wasn't great. But looking back on it, I'm not standing here if it wasn't for him. And so first and foremost, my journey to get to this podium today and to have those accolades and the catches and all that aren't possible if it wasn't for him. And he had shoulder surgery last week, so he's struggling. But I made sure that he was going to be okay to be here, because my journey to this day started with him and the man I am. And then I got to not look at my mom. My mom is and was the center of our lives growing up. All boys, sports family, football, old school football coach as a husband, hard on us. She was the balancing act, and she would admit it, maybe sometimes too much. But she was the compensation. She was the yin to his yang, and it worked for us. Our family dynamic worked for us. I'll never forget, I mean, you talk about toughness and perseverance and lessons that I've carried with me to this day. My junior year in high school, watching her go through chemotherapy, battling cancer, coming to games, you know, wearing a wig and a hat underneath the bleachers, not feeling good. She never missed a game. And like, again, you're a 16-year-old kid, but like, and at the time you don't realize, but now looking back, like, all of that stuff made such an impact on who I am, the father I've been able to be, the husband, and you know, so my journey starts with my parents. I'm forever grateful for what you guys have done for me, the sacrifices. We're still making new memories now with other things going on in our life, but I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for you guys. So I love you guys. Thank you. I got one of my brothers here. My other brother's not here. My one thing that I've never let my dad live down was he had 3 kids. He made 2 of them quarterbacks, and he made 1 of them a tight end. And if any of you guys know how NFL football goes, you want to play quarterback. You don't want to play tight end. So I had an older brother who was a year older than me, Chris. He's not here. He was my first quarterback. Until I went to college, or really my senior in high school, I never caught a pass from anybody else in the world. He was my first quarterback. We were only a year apart. He was my best friend growing up. Fight, but best friends. And, you know, learned the game with Dad through that. Forever grateful for those memories. We tried to play together in college. It didn't work out. We both went our separate ways. But, you know, the impact of growing up with him. And then I had a 10-year-old brother, younger brother who's here, Kevin, 10 years younger than me, quarterback. he was like my little buddy coming around. You know, he was almost like my kid. You know, I was a high school senior graduating, going off to college, and he was like the 7, 8-year-old kid running around Miami spring ball, like jumping on the pads like my kids would do now. And he'd be like, who's that kid? I'm like, that's actually my brother. And he was just always around, always with us. And these last couple years, I wouldn't have been able to keep playing. He was my quarterback. He was my jugs machine. He was my workout partner, whatever I needed from him. I couldn't be more proud of you, bud. I'm glad that you're here. I wish Chris was here too, but you know, he lives out of town, and him and his wife. So to see you guys moving on with your lives, Lauren's here, Chris and Lindsay, you guys, you know, your support of me just as brothers. You guys never cared that I played football. You didn't care that I was, you know, whatever I did. You guys just love me for being my brother, and I just want you guys to know I'm thankful for you guys, and I'm glad that you could be here, bud, to enjoy it. My path to Carolina was pretty interesting. I started out, I went to Notre Dame, didn't work out, transferred to University of Miami. Never thought I'd play it down there. I mean, when I went to Miami, they were a lot better than they are now. And, sorry, cut that out. But anyway, that's the truth. So anyway, and I never forget, I called my dad that first night, and I was like, you know what, Dad, how is it? You love it? I'm like, I love it. It's great. I was like, I'm not as good as these guys. I'm never going to play here. You know, my first year I redshirted, kept battling. Was good enough to eventually get drafted by the Chicago Bears back in 2007, and that was my NFL journey starting. You know, I was very thankful for the McCaskey family, a family that I've crossed paths with now, you know, a few times over the last couple years, and have always just had great respect for the way they operate. That was a great city. The city of Chicago embraced my family and I from day one. We brought home our first son there. He likes to call them the good old days when it was just the three of us. And 8 weeks after that, I got the phone call that changed my life. Drew, my agent Drew Rosenhaus, is here. He called me. It was on the eve of training camp. I had checked into my dorm, and this one phone call has forever changed the course of my life. Got a call from Drew that the Bears were not looking to extend the contract after this final year of my rookie deal, and that they were going to open it up to trade. And by the next afternoon, John Beeson, who I thought was going to be here, I wish I saw him, was a teammate of mine in college, was a first-round pick my same year here to Carolina. He called me and says, hey, you're coming to Carolina. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. 2 seconds later, Drew called me. I got traded to Carolina. And that one, at the time, I was mad. I was bitter. I wanted to stay in Chicago. We had just played in the NFC Championship. Again, you never know in life how change is going to impact you going forward. And it was the single greatest thing that ever happened to Kara and I, single greatest thing that ever happened to my family, was coming from Chicago, relocating to Carolina, and being a part of building what we were able to build here. Joining guys like Thomas and Ryan and Charles and all the guys that were here and had set that foundation. I was happy to come in and play my part to building what we felt we took a lot of pride in what we had built over the years here. And you know, my time here, I don't have enough time. I'm a talker, but I don't have enough time, so I want Thomas to have his moment. But I could go on, and when I think about my memories here and I look around this room, every guy I see, you know, when I see, you know, Mike Anderson and you know, Matt Allen and Claire, and I think of like Friday bow time and like sitting around, and Friday after practice, we're sitting around eating biscuits and chicken fingers, and by the end of the year, our table was like 50 people deep, right? Like people from all aspects of the building. And we were you had to be there. Like, those are the memories I think about. Those were the memories that made this place so special. We won our fair share of games. We had our magical wins. We had our plays that stick out. But the people were what made this place so unique. You know, guys that are lifelong friends. I touched on Thomas. I know Luke's here somewhere, lifelong friend. JJ, Chris Manhertz is here. Tolber. I mean, guys that I'm so fortunate to be able to call like some of my best friends that I've ever had. Just fate brought us together. That random trade in 2011 where I didn't even know where Charlotte, I didn't know if it was North or South Carolina. I had never been here. Little did I know what paths were going to open because of that. And for that, I couldn't be more thankful for the memories that we made, the moments that we shared, the losses that we shared, you know, the people. So, you know, Mr. Richardson brought me here. I couldn't be more thankful for him, what he did for my family at some of our toughest times, to go out of his way and go above and beyond. I know he means a lot to a lot of other guys around here, but I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank him for opening his arms and welcoming me and my family here to Carolina. Ron, Coach Rivera, he's somebody that I still keep in great contact with. Almost went and joined Thomas with them in Washington this year, ended up going out west. It's another conversation. But, just these guys, Coach Hanner, Pete, 9 years, good old Pete. And how you saw him in that video is how he coached me for 9 years. The offensive coordinators we had Shula, and just the coaches, the people, the support staff, the trainers. Kevin King, I think, is here somewhere, and JB, you saw House on the video, and Nate. I could go on and on and on. Mr. Coleman, literally the best employee this organization has ever had. The fact that I walked in and saw him here today with his wife, I could stand here for 2 hours and talk about the people in this organization and tell a story on every single one of them of how they've impacted my life, regardless of what happened on the field. And to me, that's the measure of an organization. That's the measure of what makes all this stuff worth it. Because it's hard. It's not easy. Not every day in the NFL is easy. Not every day in the NFL, you feel at the time is worth it, but it is. And it's because when you look back on the memories that we made and the moments that we shared is what makes all this so worth it. There's a few things that stand out, and I'm going to finish. Some of those moments you saw them, the 2015 season, we tried as hard as hell in 2016 to recreate it. It's hard to recreate that magic. There was something unique about that team. There was something unique about that season. We literally tried to do the exact same thing the next year. Didn't go nearly as well. But, I'll never forget those moments. I'll never forget everyone talks about the catch to beat Seattle. I think about the flight home. And Tolbert's dancing, and guys are in the aisle of the plane, and no one's sitting down, and the flight attendants are asking, we're about to take off. Those were the moments, the energy, the camaraderie, being with the guys. That's the stuff that I'll miss the most. And when I think back to special games, I think about the experiences with the people that I got to share it with. Banging the drum with TJ shortly after he came back from, having one of his big surgeries. The team honored me and asked me to bang the drum, the keep pounding drum. I have that picture hanging in my office. It's one of the highlights of my life, let alone my career. Just holding him, he was a baby. He had been through so much. Banging the drum before our first playoff game. We finally made the playoffs that year, and a home playoff game, and we won. It was just a special night for us. And to look back and know that the organization let me have that moment with my son, and all that drum symbolizes with the fabric of this organization was a huge honor. And again, I could go on and on about different experiences. I've been very fortunate in my life to have so many people that weren't my parents, my wife, my brothers, that were just such huge support for me. And when Kara and I started dating in college and getting to know her parents, who are also here today, and just to be able to see our families connect and to see our families coexist. And not everything always has to be hunky-dory. Not everything is always going to be perfect, right? This is not a fairy tale. But just to have their support and treat me like I was their son, and to cheer for me and have the best interest in me, their support has meant unbelievable. Kara has a sister and husband who we went to college with, who have become like brothers and sisters to me, and their nephews, their kids are our niece and nephews. I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by people who didn't raise me, weren't my mom and dad, weren't my brothers, but have grown into those roles, just incredible support and love and kindness. So for you guys, I'm thankful. I'm happy that you guys are here. It means a lot that you could share this with Kara and I. And a couple other close buddies of mine with Maddie and Peter, guys who I've worked with for over a decade, who they get a lot of calls from me. When I got released from the Panthers, they get a call. When I get a contract extension with the Panthers, they get a call. When I'm debating my future of retirement, they get a call. And I'm sure at times they don't want to answer it, but they do. They're just true friends. And very often in life, you don't come across many of those people. So I'm thankful that you guys are here. I appreciate what you guys have done. And Drew, I think he's somewhere here, is probably negotiating a deal. There you, okay, the lights. Me and Drew had a lot of good times, I'll be honest. We were very fortunate, and Drew's the first to remind everybody when the times are down, but we had a good run. We negotiated a lot of contracts together. We did very well, but all that aside, there was no more loyal person in my career. Nobody who had my best interest at heart like he did. From the day I met him leaving Miami, my entire 14-year career, he was with me. I'm thankful for you, bud. I appreciate you being here. Anybody who has you and works with you, I know feels the same way that I do. So to all of you guys, my support system and my extended family and friends, I'm thankful that you guys got to be here. Last and not least, the community of Carolina as a whole, the region, North and South Carolina, Charlotte especially. From the day we got here, you guys wrapped your arms around me and my family. When news broke of what TJ was going to go through upon being born, when the twins were getting ready to be born back in that fateful 2012 season, you guys wrapped your arms around us. There wasn't an event that we held that you weren't there. We'd be in the hospital for what seemed like years, and people would send notes, and people would send balloons, and people would reach out to us to just let us know that they were thinking about us, people we never even knew. I can't tell you guys, for all of you listening, and hopefully everyone who's not gets this message, we could not be more grateful to be a member of this community. This is home. This is where we raise our children. We are forever indebted to this community. You guys, you helped save our families' lives. You know, you helped keep us intact, and your support and your continued support now, hopefully even after I'm done playing, and we hope that we can continue to achieve great things. Levine Children's Hospital, I know they have some representatives back here. You literally saved our kid's life. We didn't even know you existed until we needed you. And I always tell people it's the greatest place in the world that you hope you never have to step foot in. And unfortunately for us, we did. And we've been there a lot. And you know, we wouldn't be sitting here as a family of 5 with a little guy like that if it wasn't for you. And to the staff there and the doctors and the nurses, there's too many to thank. We love you guys. We are forever in your corner. There is nothing that we wouldn't do for you. You know, you heard Mr. Tepper talk about the gala that him and his wife Nicole joined us at. You know, those days are still ahead for us. There's still a lot for us to accomplish. There's still a lot that we can do in that world. So to the entire community, to the fan base of Carolina, I thank you guys so much. We love you guys. And now to what I know is going to be the hardest part, and then I'm done, I promise. I mean, my kids, my wife, I met Kara. We were freshmen living in the same dorm. She tells a different story than I do about how we first connected. I'll save that for another time, Kelly. I wouldn't be standing here having the career that I had if I didn't make the decision to marry Kara and decide to live my life with her. I've gone to bat on that theory with a lot of people who don't agree with me. But if you find that right person and you know they're the one, and they can live their life selflessly only through your needs, wishes, and desires. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the easiest guy to deal with. I'm very purposeful in what I want to do. I'm very obsessed with my routine. I'm very obsessed with how I prepare. My career took a lot out of our family, and I don't shy away from that. I apologize for that, but she never made me apologize for that. She understood it was a team effort for us to live this life. For me to be a professional football player was not just me off on my own and pressure to get back because we got things to do. No, my career and my dreams and my goals were always at the top of her priority list. And I just can't imagine, doing this with anybody else. Tate, it's like looking in a mirror. He's my little buddy. He's living my life from 30 years ago. I love you, bud. I'm proud of you. You are my little clone, good and bad. Your mommy reminds me of that a lot. And I love you, pal. I'm glad you got to experience my career. I'm glad that you got to be a part of it. I hope you're old enough to remember a lot of the good times. My one regret is I wish I could have had some more of those special years and special moments when you were a little older, because I think you would have loved it. And Tally, you're like our little ray of sunshine. I'll never forget sneaking out of the locker room one day at halftime to watch you be a Top Cat. That was a highlight of my career. I didn't tell anybody, I just did it. But I wasn't going to miss the chance to watch you run around and cheer and that smile on your face. We love you, baby. You're the best. And TJ, you are inspiration for so much of this, bud. And you're the toughest kid we know. What you've been through, the inspiration that you've given us and people all around the country, we wouldn't change a thing. We wish you didn't have to go through it, but we wouldn't change it. And you're a special little boy. And Kara never wants the spotlight, so today I'm going to give her the spotlight, and she doesn't have a choice. She's the most selfless, does not want the attention, does not want the accolades, does not want the compliments or the praise. But she deserves it. And when Mick said it at the front of this ceremony as a joke, is the truth. She's the most special person I've ever met. And her ability to let me live out my dreams that I had since a young boy running around on my dad's sideline, and to be my partner and fly all over the country to chase this dream, and to think of nobody else, to never think of herself and only put her husband and her 3 kids before her, is something I'll never be able to repay you. She's trying to get me to repay it now that I'm retired, which she reminds me of. But that's going to be a process. But Kara, words can't sum up the impact you've had on my life, and the ability to stand here and call you my wife and call you my best friend and my partner to get to this point has been the greatest experience in my life. And to share this with you for this day, with our family, with all of our friends and people here, has been bigger than I ever really imagined standing here now. So I love you. I don't know how else I can express that to you. I hope I made you proud. I would text her before every game. You know, I wanted her and the kids to enjoy these moments, and I hope I made them proud, because to get onto the field on Sunday, they sacrificed a lot. The off seasons, no traveling, I'm working out, I'm gone. They sacrificed a lot, and I just hope it was worth it. My biggest regret is I just hope everything I did for myself in my career, I hope I look back and it was worth it in your guys' eyes. And if it was, that's the greatest thing that I could ask for. So I hope everyone enjoyed this run as good as I did. I hope people look back on my career, and I hope my teammates look back on playing with me and look at it as a positive one. My number one goal was always to be a great teammate. I wanted guys to feel confident when I was on the field with them that I was going to be there always. And if that's the legacy of my career, that I was a good teammate and a good guy to coach and somebody you wanted to be on your team, that's all I ever cared about. The catches come and go, the wins come and go. I just took great pride in my teammates and having their respect, and having their love, and I hope when it's all said and done, that's how people remember me. So thank you guys all so much for all of that. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
It was the summer of 2014, and I'd been invited to speak at a Charlotte Sportsman's Club event at Myers Park Highfalutin Country Club. And about 350 people there, including Thomas Davis, who was to receive the Bob Quincy Award. Bob Quincy was a legendary sports writer based out of Charlotte. The organizers wanted your humble correspondent to do about a 20-minute speech and then take questions. So after my speech, the first question came from this old boy, pot-bellied, gray-headed gentleman in a red checkered sport coat who, to my eye, had had several cocktails. And he stood up and he said, Mick, I want to know what effect you think the Greg Hardy situation will have on our football team this season. Greg Hardy was a D lineman who had recently been arrested. So as I'm contemplating how I'm going to respond to that fastball right at my chin from this gentleman, I notice at a table down to my left, about 74 inches and 250 pounds of NFL linebackers stand up and reach up for the microphone. Thomas had already given his speech about 45 minutes ago. There had been dinner, but he was still there. So when I see his hand reach up for the microphone, of course I hand him the microphone. And he looks at this guy, and his eyes get narrow like a pit viper. And I'm thinking, I wonder if Thomas is going to tackle this guy and possibly kill him. But he doesn't. He looks at him. You remember this, TD? The room got so unbelievably quiet. And he points his finger at him, and he says, let me tell you something. I talked to Greg just today, and I told him when you put that jersey on, that Panther jersey, you're representing something a lot bigger than yourself. You're representing me, Luke, Greg, Cam, the rest of us. And you've got to hold yourself to a higher standard. All we know now is what he's been accused of. We'll let the story play out. But I think he got my message. And then TD handed me back the microphone. And I'm thinking, that went rather well. Are there any other questions for Thomas and me? And I wanted Thomas to come with me to Fayetteville the next Tuesday night to the Cumberland County Sportsman's Club. But driving home that night, I said to my wife when I got home, and I thought about this a lot, I said, you know, for just a second, a millisecond in my life, I realized what it would be like to be a teammate of Thomas Davis or to have him as a teammate. Because when this amazing man and this incredible athlete has your back, he doesn't just have your back. He's got your sides, your front, the top, and the bottom. And I'll never forget that night, TD. And it's things like what Greg brought up about him and things like that, the tremendous class, the currency that he traded in the locker room and in the community with absolute respect that makes him such a beloved figure today. So, ladies and gentlemen, will you now please direct your attention to the video screen?
All I can say is it's definitely great to be here and just be looking forward to seeing what I'm going to be as a captain.
Thomas Davis erases him at the 10-yard line.
His ability to diagnose plays is uncanny.
Davis picks it off, and it's intercepted. Lots of pass, intercepted.
We fly around, we hit people in the mouth. That's what we do. Boom! You saw it and you heard it. My goodness.
The Carolina Panthers are going to Super Bowl 50. Congratulations!
That's how you do it.
It's the winner of the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, Thomas Davis.
Let's take charge. Dare to be different. Let's show these kids how much we care about them. Let's give the media something positive to talk about. Let's step up and be a village of guys that make a difference. Let's change this world.
All right, TD, before you come up to the podium for your speech, will you please join owner David Tepper at the table to the right of the stage to sign your contract to retire as a Carolina Panther.
I guess I might have been a little bit better than Greg. He gave me a little bit more money, man. Man, here we go. Y'all can get ready for it.
Man, I want to start out by thanking God for allowing all of us to be here today, man. We know what we went through in 2020, and for us to persevere that as people is an amazing accomplishment. When I look back over the course of my career, I've been fortunate to be around a lot of great people. And I'll start out by talking about, the guy that I get to share this day with, Greg Olsen. I remember when we made that trade and John Beeson coming to me, he was like, TD, man, I'm telling you, we just got a great one, bro. He's fast, he's explosive, he has hands. But the whole time I'm thinking like, man, that's a white tight end. Ain't no way he's that fast. But, sure enough, man, Greg comes, man, and, we welcome him in, and, he comes in and as a Sam linebacker, Sam/Will, I have the responsibility of covering Greg in one-on-ones. And, for me, I got better from covering Greg week in and week out. I can tell you that. One of the most competitive guys, one of the most fierce men that you'll ever meet. As you guys just got to witness, he's probably the most talkative guy that we had on our team the entire time. JJ can attest to that. JJ is a close second. He's right behind you. But, you are around people and you get to know a lot about them. For Greg, I got to know a lot about him and his family and his heart and his passion for people, man. And I think it's unmatched. When you think about, seeing what he dealt with TJ and, seeing him come to work each and every day, man, and never show signs of it affecting him, man, for me, that was inspirational. And Greg, man, I just commend you for all of those things. But when I truly found out what kind of person you was on a golf course. A lot of y'all don't know this story. I'm terrible at golf, so I'll tell you that. And Greg had a charity event, and he invited me to it. So I always go support my brothers at their charity events. And we're out there just, having a good time. I swing, and lo and behold, my ball ended up in a place that I never, ever imagined that it would end up. And that was Greg's mom's eye. Yeah. Of course, right? And the way he handled that situation, the way that whole family handled that situation just really let me know, what kind of people they really were. Nobody got upset, nobody got disappointed because I was terrible at golf. They even gave me hugs after that. And where I'm from, you don't experience that. You do something to somebody's mom, you're in trouble. So, that's when I really knew that, Greg Olsen was a stand-up guy. And brother, hats off to you, man, on a heck of a career, man. Next, I just really want to transition to thanking Mr. Tepper for this opportunity. A lot different from Greg. I'm in Washington at the time, and when I knew that it was time, I got on the phone and I called Mr. Tepper. I'm like, hey, I want to come home, man. Man, this place, man. This place for me, man, it changed my whole life, man. It changed the whole trajectory of my family's life. When I think about where I grew up at in Shelburne, Georgia, and I think about what I grew up seeing, what I grew up witnessing, to be able to have an opportunity to live a dream that so many other guys could have had an opportunity to do, but for some reason they just didn't make it out. They just didn't find a way. And to be that person that made it out and found a way to better the lives of my family and my friends and the people around me, man, I can't thank this organization enough. And for me, that started with Mr. Jerry Richardson and Ms. Rosalind. I can't thank you guys enough for believing in me and pouring into my life. A lot of you guys know how my career went, man. 2009, 10, and 11, I tore my ACL 3 years in a row. And I said I wasn't gonna cry, man. It's the first thing I started doing when I'm listening to Greg talk, so thank you, Greg. Last time I said I wasn't gonna cry was at my wedding, and I won that bet because I cut those vows short. But Mr. Richardson and Ms. Rosalind, man, Mr. Richardson was the one person out of a lot of people that believed in me when nobody else did. After I tore my ACL for the third time, we had a meeting that determined whether or not I was going to continue to be able to play football. And he told me, he said, I believe in you. And if you're willing to put yourself through it, I'm going to give you that opportunity. And in life, man, just knowing that you have somebody that believes in you, just knowing that you have an opportunity, you have a chance. And I took it and I ran with it. And you guys know the rest is history. The best years of my life, the best years of my career all happened after I tore my ACL for the third time. And when I think about those times and I think about all that went into it, a lot of you don't know, I thought that after it happened for a third time, being around the game for like 5 or 6 years at that point, that my career was going to be over. And it wasn't until I went home and like had a conversation with my wife, Kelly, and Mike Bunkley. They were a driving force throughout that whole process, and especially Kelly, man. I know I give you a hard time, and we you know, we have our time, but I can't thank you enough. Because I know without a doubt, I don't think that I could have actually pushed through those times when you and Bunk told me that I had to have surgery anyway, so I might as well go ahead and give it a shot. That's the reason why I was able to still be here today. So I thank you. To my kids, you guys are the reason, man, why I persevere. You guys are the reason why I do all the things that I do from a standpoint of giving back to this community, from a standpoint of always conducting myself the right way. I just try to be an example. And hopefully somewhere along the way, I've instilled some things into you guys that are going to transcend and allow you to grow up and be even better than me. Somebody just told me that the other day that they said, hey, TJ is going to be way better than you were as a football player. And I looked at him and I was like, bro, I hope you're right, because he has some tough shoes to fill. So TJ, the ball is in your court, brother. To Sky, you are a breath of fresh air. You are so much like your mom. You keep me on my toes. to be 18 years old and a sophomore in college right now, that was the reason why I had to pluck some gray hairs out of my chin last night. But I love you. I'm gonna always love you. I'm gonna always be there for you. Denim, you was the source of a lot of those gray hairs too. And I love you too, brother. I'm looking forward to seeing all that you're gonna be able to accomplish in life. I just want you to believe in yourself and understand that the sky is the limit. Maddie, my baby girl, you're the one and the only that can get away with any and everything in the house because you know I love you so much, right? To my entire family, man, I just can't thank y'all enough. Because the love and support that I receive on a daily basis, man, is unmatched. Football has been something that that has allowed me to just bring in a ton of brothers. A ton of brothers. And the reason why I speak on brothers is, and why that's so important to me, because at a very young age, I lost my brother. And God is so intentional, man. When you have a loss in your life, man, he has a way of replacing it that we can never imagine, man. And football has been that one thing that has allowed me to create friendships, bonds that are gonna last forever. Every time I walk into this building, I'm constantly reminded of all of the people that have poured into this place, all of the people that have poured into my life. I know it looks a lot different now than when I was playing, but coming in each and every day with Jackie Miles being here, Donnie, Greg, Danny, those are the guys that most of you have never heard of. But this place wouldn't be what it was without these guys. Miss Jennifer Almond, I can't count the number of times that I've come into her office and just poured my heart out to her. She was like another mom to me. When I was struggling and going through the tough times, being able to walk in and see Mr. Coleman's face, man. Every player that played on this team know what Mr. Coleman meant to this organization. I don't care how bad you felt, I don't care how down you were. You walked in and you saw that smile on Mr. Coleman's face and it made you feel better. So Mr. Coleman, man, I thank you for that. Because each and every day you made me feel better regardless of what I was going through. To my mom, we did it. We did the unthinkable. We did what nobody else said that we could do. We did what nobody else believed that we can do. 16 years later, we accomplished something that a lot of people only dream of. I just wish that people really got to see the backstory and got to see the struggles that we went through to get here. And they will understand how sweet this moment is, why I'm so emotional. In case you guys haven't noticed yet, I wear my heart on my sleeve, obviously. I feel like I've dedicated so much to this organization, to this city. And to be able to have a moment like this, man, it's truly special to me. It's something that I'll never forget. It's something that I'll always remember. Panther Nation, you guys have been tremendous, man. I can't thank you enough for all of the messages, all of the all of the tweets, each and every way that you guys have found a way to reach out to me. I can't thank you enough. To all of the coaches that I've had over the course of my career, all of the people that we got to see on the video, man, have truly been inspirational in my life. I can't thank you guys enough. To all of my teammates, especially the guys that are here right now, man. Toll, Nate, Rob, Shaq, Luke, Chase. Who else in here, man? I can't see everybody right now. These lights are bright. Greg, you guys, Cap. Can't forget about my son, man. Man, you guys have been everything to me, man. You're gonna always be brothers to me. I'll always be there for y'all if y'all ever need me for anything. And I know without a doubt that y'all gonna always be here for me. To the people of this organization, thank you guys for welcoming me in such a long time ago. To Coach Rule, it's in your hands now. It's in your hands now. I'm gonna always be a fan. I'm gonna always wear the black and blue. And I know that you're gonna give us something to be proud of. I'm excited to see where this team is gonna go under your leadership, Mr. Tepper. I'm thankful for this opportunity. I'm thankful for this day. I cannot express that enough. This is an intentional time right now. I just want to make this moment last as long as I can. When I think about how my journey started, coming in as a kid out of Randolph Clay High School, not having a scholarship opportunity. This message is for all the kids out there right now that are in a position or in a situation that may not be getting highly recruited or may not have an opportunity to really showcase your talents. Don't give up. Don't quit. Keep going. Keep pounding. As long as you continue to believe it can happen. Thank you.
That's two Warrior Kings, two of the Carolina Panthers' all-time favorite sons whose contributions, of course, on the field and in their communities will never be forgotten. It's rare that the apex predators on the field are also the nicest guys off it. But in Greg Olsen and in Thomas Davis, two of the most awesome guys you could ever want to meet. So ladies and gentlemen, with your applause, will you congratulate one more time the 58 and the 88, Thomas Davis and Greg Olsen. From this way. Greg and TD, if you will, come up to the stage now and take a seat so that we may visit with you briefly. We won't do this for very long, but just take a breath. And TD, Greg talked about what you mean to him in very eloquent terms. What does Greg Olsen mean to you?
You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
I thought
I can talk about myself.
We know that, Greg. But I mean, Greg means the world to me, honestly. You know, he's definitely a guy that, like I said, from day one, you know, he came in and he helped me become a much better player. He, like I said, was highly competitive. He worked us each and every day. We made sure that we went hard against each other each and every day. And I felt like from competing and going against Greg, practice was a lot harder than the games. And competing with Luke, practice was a lot harder than the game. So it definitely made us better. And I think that he's a phenomenal football player, but he's an even better husband and man off the field.
Greg, you talked about your mom struggles with cancer some, and then the heart condition that TJ was born with. How did those two events in your life shape who you are?
Yeah, I just think those experiences, especially as a young kid, when everything is so new and you're so impressionable, I just think the earlier you realize that life is not always going to go according to plan. Life is not always going to be smooth sailing. You're going to deal with adversity, and I think that dealing with adversity personally and as a family at a young age, as I continue to grow, when Kara and I would deal with our first adversity as a couple, or adversity then with our children, or on the field, off the field, if adversity and struggles are always going to just crush you and crater you, life's going to be tough. Because I don't know a person out there that has lived a life that hasn't faced struggle, that hasn't faced issues. And it's just been always something that I've tried to power through. I haven't always done a great job with it, but just those early life lessons that I was able to learn through the game of football and through just life in our family are things that I still try to carry forward and now instill in my kids. Try to put them in position where they might fail, put them in position where things are not always going to be handed to them, or things are not always going to just be a sense of entitlement. That's the real world. That's the world that we're all living in these days. Is you got to go out there and earn what you get, and deal with rejection, and deal with failure, and deal with struggle. And those early life experiences of me growing up, and I've carried those traits with me now to this day.
This will be the same question for you both. Thomas, how do you want to be remembered here?
So for me, I just want to be remembered as a guy that made this space a much better space after being in it than not.
Great.
That's always been my goal. I wanted to come into this organization and first and foremost, really establish who I was as a football player. Fierce competitor, a guy that gave each and everything he had to the game. But I also wanted to make a huge impact in this community. I wanted the kids that looked like me, that was growing up like me, to know that they had the same opportunities as I did. And I wanted to create those and kind of even the playing field for some of those kids that were at a disadvantage when it comes to that.
Greg, how do you want to be remembered here?
Yeah, really the same way that I tried to live my career. I kind of touched on it at the end of my speech. I had one goal as a player. I wanted the other guys on the team, whether it was the other 10 guys in the huddle, the guys on defense, whoever it was, the coaches. I wanted, when I stepped in the huddle and when I was on the field, I wanted the other guys to feel better. I wanted them to know, and I might have called zero pat. It had nothing to do with production. It had nothing to do with accolades. I took great pride in that Thomas Davis and Cam Newton, when he looked across from me in the huddle to call the play, that Cam Newton would go, I can trust this guy. I'm glad he's here. We're better off that he's in the huddle than if he wasn't. That was my greatest sense of pride. Anything aside from that, I could live with. I just wanted my teammates and my coaches to feel that way about me, from how I practiced, from how I prepared, to how diligent, all those things that went into going on the field on Sunday. I wanted the guys on my team to say, I'm glad he's on my team. That's it. I wanted Cam to feel, when he needed a guy, that he could look across the huddle and be like, he's here, I got him. That bond and that connection meant everything to me. The results, the wins, the losses, 5 catches, 10 catches, no catches, 2 drops, whatever. I could live with the results. My teammates, my friends, my coaches, that was where I set all of my standards. If they respected me, how I acted, how I prepared, my presence on the team, I could live with the result.
Let's wrap up the Q&A with this same question for you both. TD, you first. what are your plans now for after football? And not just what do you want to do, but how do you want to do it, and how do you plan to attack this next stage in your life?
You know, I mean, I plan to attack this next stage the same way that I've attacked my whole career, man, as relentless as I possibly can. And the first thing that, you know, I really decided that I wanted to do was become an owner. And, you know, I'm an owner of the Charlotte Thunder Arena football team. And, you know, we have a game on March the 27th. So for the Panther fans that, you know, you guys don't have Panther football right now, you guys can come check us out, Charlotte Thunder football.
Love it. Let's go. I'm assuming it's the same question for me. I'm the worst retired guy ever. My days have been busier now than they were before. My kid is sitting here chanting. He wants me to give his baseball team a shout out, so I will. That takes up a lot of our time. I'm going to work with Fox. I'm going to do some TV stuff this year. I signed a contract with them last year to dive into that world. So that'll keep me busy during the fall. The rest of the year, I'm going to be a dad. You know, I'm going to be a husband. I'm going to try to be better at a lot of the things that maybe I wasn't so great at the last 15 years as I kind of put myself before others, not proudly, but there was a purpose that we had, and there was things that needed to be done if I was going to continue to play this game. And as my career got longer and older, the work that went into it got longer and harder. And I still never wanted to step foot on the field and be bad. So I knew in order to not be bad, I needed to do a lot of things the rest of the year to try to keep my play up. And it took away from the kids. It took away from Kara at times. I like to being able to travel and not worry about what I eat and what time my workout is and what time I go to bed and all the things that I haven't been able to have a clear mind for 15 years. I've really enjoyed that. I spent a lot of time coaching the kids' sports. Way more time than you guys would ever imagine. It's almost embarrassing how much time, but we love it. It's our passion. It's what we do. So I have plenty on my plate.
Greg Olsen, Thomas Davis, congratulations. Thank you. And leave here today knowing that your legacies are secure as two of the all-time great Carolina Panthers. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And go Panthers. All right, that will conclude our event. Thank you guys for being a part of it, and keep pounding.